What's in a name? For how ubiquitous Mario, Sonic, Link, Zelda, and Pikachu are, it still surprises me that indie game characters don't get memorable names. Sure, there's a time-honoured tradition of having the character name in the title, such as in the Shantae series, Cuphead, Super Meat Boy, or The Binding of Isaac, but for whatever reason, indie game developers don't like to name their now iconic characters, resulting in characters like Spelunky Guy, Nameless Boy from Limbo, the Kid from Bastion, and even Shovel Knight. Although there may be perfectly legitimate reasons for doing so, such as paying tribute to the Blue Bomber. Regardless, here are some indie game characters that have names you might not know.
I always thought it's hard to make new friends, but making enemies, I guess that's easy.
Let's start with a simple, easy one. 2014's Transistor was the second title from Supergiant Games, which is a studio that I'm a huge fan of, and at the time, the departure from the more action-based combat of Bastion provided a nice change of pace. The eponymous Transistor, however, refers to the sword that the main character wields, and her name is of course Red, after the colour of her hair. Perhaps not the most inspired name, but one could argue that Transistor is as much of a character as Red, since the sword does talk as well. Klei Entertainment's art style is certainly distinct and beautiful, with Don't Starve in particular evoking Tim Burton, which is particularly well suited for the survival game that is Don't Starve, where you have to, well, not starve. While there are a number of different playable characters, the main one on all the promo materials is this vampire-looking guy whose name is Wilson.
In his search for answers, he dug up more than he bargained for.
This is a 2-for-1 special in that we have two characters in two games.
The digging. The caves.
The SteamWorld franchise is a fascinating one which spans multiple games, time periods and genres, but the SteamWorld Dig games are still my favourites, since these are essentially Metroidvanias. The protagonist from the first game is named Rusty, and he enters without much of a story, simply arriving in town to seek his fortune. However, in the sequel, Rusty goes missing, and it is up to our other character, Dorothy, to look for him. Love the sequel in particular, so these are definitely games which I recommend. Controversy aside, Fez is an absolute gem of a puzzle platformer whose main hook is being able to spatially rotate the world, and has secrets and puzzles that will make you want to keep a journal of your own in real life. However, Fez, not that one, of course refers to the hat that our character wears, who is named Gomez. Get your mind blown like Gomez in this fantastic game. Amanita Design perhaps learned their lesson with their most recent title in Chucho, but going way back to 2009 is the steampunk hand-drawn point-and-click adventure game Machinarium. It is a beautiful world to explore, with your main character being a little robot named Joseph, who's named after the creator of the word robot. Nice little bits of trivia. The time-bending puzzle platformer Braid was perhaps the game that put developer Jonathan Blow on the map. Featuring an all-too-familiar story about saving the princess from a monster, this has its own unique take on the story, which is worth experiencing. Our protagonist, however, is not named Braid, but is simply Tim, which I suppose is par for the course for simple names. "2018's Celeste is an award-winning splatformer which has its fair share of challenges and difficulty, but with an immensely satisfying narrative as well. However, if you have not played the game, with all the buzz surrounding it, I can't fault you for thinking that Celeste is the name of the main character, but that is certainly not the case. Rather, Celeste is the name of the mountain, with Madeline being the character's name. Alright, so this one's a little bit more obscure, but what is the name of the protagonist of Axiom Verge? For as popular as Metroidvanias are, the main characters for these games don't get as much brand recognition as a Belmont or a Samus, which is definitely weird. Not helping is that our hero, in this case, is a scientist working on a project on Earth, and after an explosion, he awakens on the mysterious alien planet of Sudra and embarks on this very Metroid-influenced adventure. Any guesses? Well, his name is Trace. I have pointed at Owlboy many times due to the sheer beauty of the pixel art, which is indeed very impressive. But do you know that the name of the main character isn't Owlboy? While he may be a boy and he may be an owl, our protagonist is instead named Otis. Join him and his friends on this gorgeous adventure. This one caught me by surprise since I didn't even know what his name was and only stumbled upon it while doing research for another video. One would think that the roguelite platformer wouldn't have a named main character, leading to things like the prisoner in Dead Cells, the randomized character names of Rogue Legacy, or even Spelunky Guy mentioned above. Coming to us from Japanese indie developer Moppin, it is perhaps most fitting that this little guy is named Well Taro, combining the well of Downwell with the Japanese suffix Taro, meaning eldest son. So these are 11 indie game characters, which names you might not have known, so it comes back to the question, what's in the name? If you know any other indie game character names that you think people might not know about, do leave it in the comments below, and of course, do try to educate friends and family on these character names and help spread the word on indie games. For more of the best indie games, do check out the previous video or click on the recommended playlist, and I will see you after the jump.